Welcome to I Heart Geek.
And welcome to another WandaVision episode of I Heart Geek.
WandaVision.
Yeah, are we happy, guys? This is fantastic.
Oh yeah.
There's so much to talk about. So
oh my gosh.
You know, let's cut the formalities. I'm Dub. I do stuff. I'm here with Chris. He does stuff, and Courtney. She does stuff. And Satomi. She does stuff. Is that big enough? Awesome.
That's
okay. There's too much to talk about today to screw around.
Hi
Hi. But yeah, so Courtney's back. Yay!
guys. Yay! I'm glad to be back.
That normal energy will be back for us.
Let's get it. I'm ready. Let's do this.
Let's jump right in. I loved the intro. This was Malcolm in the Middle.
Yes.
So, okay, anybody catch the key elements on the? I'm starting to listen to the theme music because there's hints in all the theme music. What did you guys? Did you guys catch any of the hints on this one?
I didn't. I'm gonna let you take it because I just enjoyed the homage. So I didn't catch any music or any lyrics.
Chris or Satomi?
I was. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Should you like rock paper scissors?
We're also polite.
I definitely caught things, but I forgot to write them down because I was just having so much fun watching them and their take on Malcolm in the Middle and the whole
now.
It was just so good, but like the last one, it's like they hinted to like they're kind of making it up as we go along.
Yeah, that was
thing. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, which I probably am. I think the words for this week's had something to do with that too. Kinda.
There's a couple words that were interesting. Satomi, did you catch anything different from that?
You know what? I will be honest. I was watching it. I watched it twice and I listened and I was like, oh. And then I didn't write it down. So I don't remember it all, you know? So yeah.
I have 5 pages of notes for this episode and I'm not even kidding.
Of course you do.
I'm playing it off the cuff today, but I'm still going to blow people's minds. I'm just saying.
Okay. So the two big key phrases from this one that I picked up on was first one, don't fight the chaos. Which she had, Wanda has chaos
her
magic.
Is chaos magic. Yep.
So I thought that was a very nice little Easter egg. And the other one was don't fight the illusion. Which what happens at the end of this? We are fighting some illusion, and look what happens when you do. We'll get to that at the end. It's gonna be so hard to keep this on track. So okay, scene 1. Let's see, what's our first thing? Scarlet Witch and Vision in their original costumes, and this just broke my heart. And Quicksilver,
and Wiccan, both. Well, I mean, eventually Billy gets his. Wiccan, Dub, I love you. You're so wrong.
Okay. Let's hit this real quick. Okay. And yes, I think that we're both right on this. To be honest with you,
normally I would be like, I could see it. I'll be all right. No, you're wrong.
Okay. The Wiccan's costume, who is Billy, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Billy has a sorcerer's costume that, looks a bit like his future costume, but I think looks more like Doctor Strange.
He thinks it looks like Doctor Strange. I could literally send him a picture of Wiccan
of a ripped up cape and all that. That's Wiccan. That was all very flowing and very Doctor Strange.
I can see why you think it's Doctor Strange because the colors are similar.
The colors are very similar.
Since everybody else is in their comic book costume iteration, it makes no sense for him to be the only one that is not in his comic book costume.
I have theories.
You are wrong.
Doesn't one of the kids ask, where's his costume? And he says, I'm in my
cool
costume.
Brother. I'm the cool.
Yeah.
I'm the cool twin. Yeah. Well, what does that make me?
in terms of that, what he's not wearing a costume, but the colors that he's wearing are actually the colors of his speed costume. Because his costumes are silver and green. So
nice. Okay.
He ends up wearing a Quicksilver costume, but we'll get to that.
Let's see. Pietro says she is misremembering because of trauma. because when he went back, this reminds me of the time that we got
typhoid
typhus in Sokovia.
Better than the costumes are.
And she goes, I don't remember that. And he goes, well, and he completely steps out of that funny, cool character and becomes I'm explaining this to you now. He mansplains it, if you will. You don't remember it because of your trauma.
Because you blocked it out.
And then jumps right back into Pietro. Whenever he hits that, he's telling the 100% truth. That's the only time he's telling the
Well, the thing that's wild about that, because he does it a few times throughout the episode, is Pietro's dead. So
Pietro's dead.
Well, yeah. So this is where it goes back to the multiverse theories that we were talking about over the last couple of episodes, because otherwise, how can he have a sense of what the actual reality is at all? So, I mean, just throughout it, I was like, I'm so, I'm so curious because we've got a few of those. We've got Vision, we've got Pietro, and Lord knows who else is in that. Maybe, you guys, maybe she's built Westview out of people who have died, and she's sucked them in from another universe.
That theory's out there that everybody's dead.
I don't buy into it, but I'm not going to say you're wrong on it, but I don't.
No, you could be absolutely correct.
But I don't think the death thing is.
Yeah.
And, well, for reasons.
Although Agnes brings it up. Agnes does bring it up. She goes, am I dead? Remember?
Well, that's why I don't think that they're all dead, because she actually had to ask, am I dead?
Okay.
She's a lot more aware than anybody is.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well,
but we'll get to that one.
Pietro, Pietro knows he's dead. He says it. Well, in a way,
sorta,
sorta.
You could see that Wanda. We were right. Wanda does not know who he is. No. You can see that all through that scene.
She asks. Yeah, I mean, they even discuss it later on. We'll bring it up, but she even mentions it. Yeah. When they have a confrontation. Well, it's not really a confrontation, but they have a discussion when it's just the two of them. And she mentions, why is your face different?
Yeah. Right. And we'll get to that because that's an important thing that we'll hit on that in a minute.
Yeah.
Let's see. What's the next one? Vision openly challenges Wanda for the first time. And that was like, he grew some huevos at that moment. Because he was like, yeah, what are you going to do?
Which takes a lot of effort when you're dressed like that.
When he's dressed like a booger.
Just say it. Like,
or a half shucked corn.
That. But I mean, that whole interplay.
That was amazing.
There are little digs that he gets to her to let her know that he is not.
She's not playing the game.
No, and I mean, he talks about. She's like, "Thank you for wearing that," and he said, "Well, it was the only thing in my closet." And it's like, I know what you're doing, but this is where it is. And then the next is, there are little digs as time goes on, and even the whole, well, I'm telling you now that I'm going to go do this. And she doesn't want to have confrontation. And even the walking out the door where he said, Wanda, be good. He's telling her, I am not blindly just following anymore. I still love you, and here's the stuff, but I know that there's something else going on.
Yeah, that's really deep stuff that's going on there behind the scenes. If you're not digging into it, you should definitely dig into that.
That's one of the things that kind of I know in this episode it becomes Wanda's doing this, but I still think there's another player. I still think there are other players.
I agree. There's
we're
another
gonna
player.
Get into that theory,
and I do think, and we'll get to it. When we get to it, I'll mention it. But I know that there's at least one other person besides Agnes, because we all believe Agnes is who we think she is, and we know that she knows what's going on or has some inkling of going on. There's at least one other person who is cognizant of all of this stuff too, because of what is said in one of the scenes in this episode. So I will.
Yeah,
I think I know who you're talking about, but let's continue.
Okay. Yeah. Final thing from this scene. Tommy says, Mom and Dad, they're not fighting. They're just very different now. And I think that's more to the multiverse. That this is why I'm really holding on. That Vision, that's not our Vision.
It's definitely not. It's definitely not. And I have thoughts based on what we saw towards the end.
I know where you're going to go with that.
I do too. So I'm with you on that, Chris. I got thoughts for that too.
This episode is painful to Duke right now because I just want to jump into everything, but
it's so hard not to, because it's so well written, because everything has a spider thread. What the heck is that called? But it's like a spider web. So everything is connected through this whole episode. It's a great episode.
Okay. Scene 2. I think that we have learned that Haywood is actually more of the big bad than we thought he was. We thought he was actually kind of doing, and well, we see more of his dastardly deeds in a couple more scenes. But this is the first scene. It's like, okay, we're done. I got my information from you. Bye.
He is a shady
He's
person.
Shady.
So shady. Like, I remember watching it with my fiance, and we're like, he's up to something.
Oh yeah.
I could almost see the devil horns coming out of his head at some
nice.
Don't say he's Mephisto.
Oh no.
I don't even
Mephisto.
know at this point. But he's definitely gonna be the big baddie at the end of the
one of the big baddies. Yeah, he's one of the big baddies.
I think there's more than one.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
This
but
is
I think
Hydra
you're right,
levels
Chris.
of taking over Shield.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he is going to be one of the big bads.
If there's 3 big bads, he's probably number 2.
Yeah.
So
I would like to point out just randomly the drone that they sent in, the missile that they shot at Wanda, the same missile that killed her parents.
And it says Stark.
They literally used this because it was from the same time.
That's a screw you from Haywood.
And they had to use technology from that time so that it wouldn't change when they brought it through the thing.
What?
So there's that. I was going to tell you guys that last week, but I was unavailable. So, anyways, moving on.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll get to more on that stuff in a couple of scenes, but let's go on to scene 3. This was my biggest takeaway from this scene, and this is my moment that Dub says he's right 100% just because of one word that gets used. When the kids are running around and Pietro goes, "Go out there, demon spawn." And what if we said that those 2 kids are children of Mephisto? So they would be literally demon spawn.
Yes. Okay, so
in the children of Mephisto, I thought we've always been talking about it being actually Visions and Wanda's kids.
In the comics,
it's never been Visions.
Yeah. In the comics, what the deal is in order to become pregnant, Wanda takes 2 pieces of Mephisto and creates
implants
the babies. She implants them into herself.
Family friendly.
Yeah. So she takes those 2 pieces of Mephisto and so when they're born, they're actually children of Mephisto. They're Wanda's and they're Visions, but they're also Mephisto's. And then later on,
this is awesome.
He eats them.
Yeah. But that's probably not going to happen in this.
That's probably not going to happen in this. Because they're building them to be Wiccan and Speed in the new Avengers, I'm sure.
For my tiny little mind,
they just got blown up.
Yeah. Vision's kind of like the stepdad in this scenario.
Yes.
Yeah. So are Wiccan and Speed at one point going to be like, "You're not my real dad"?
Maybe.
Awesome.
But I mean, we don't know if that's what they're doing here. We don't know if that's the case here.
And how do we know that he's not going to eat them?
Because he could eat them, but
we don't think so.
No, because I'm sure that they're going to keep Wiccan and Speed in the MCU to be used later on.
And those kids that were eaten were not Wiccan and Speed. They were Tommy and Billy.
Tommy and Billy. So so there's that. That's why the demon spawn line has that double meaning rather than you're just calling the kids demon spawn because you're the crazy fun uncle.
Yeah.
But there's also a possibility that they're Mephisto's, the MCU's version of the devil.
Yeah.
I mean, every line they write in this show is
that's something
important. It's an opera director once told me that the conversations we have on stage.
That it ain't over till the fat lady sings. That's what he said.
Well, no, but but the conversations that are you see on screen or in a play, they're not just throwaway lines. It's like every word has meaning, and add the fact that the MCU is so meticulous about how they tell their stories. Like every single sentence is probably like a reference to like 500 different things. So that's my point.
So two things. First of all, if you watch opera nowadays, it is not. It's all people of all shapes and sizes. I mean, Anna Netrebko is a little thing. Secondly,
I don't mean to say that offensively. That's just a fun line. I apologize if that offends our Broadway people.
How dare you? But secondly, just to support what Chris just said, is not only is MCU are their writers so steeped in the lore of that universe, but they've got these little short, less than half-hour shows. So everything is important. And so every time I watch these dang shows, I feel like 80% of it goes over my head. Because
but you still understand it. That's what they do right.
Yes. Yeah. You still get it without knowing that what I just told you about Mephisto and the children, you still got what was happening.
Oh yeah. So, yeah. Although I didn't catch that Hayward was possibly a supernatural baddie.
I don't know if he's supernatural. I don't think he's supernatural. I think he's a power hungry
just a baddie.
What if it turns out that he is Mephisto?
Then
it would be a really interesting twist.
That would be a great twist, honestly,
because he's the one that people are not really thinking is Mephisto.
But we'll get back to some important things on that in a minute. I know where I think. Hold on that because I think I know where you're going.
Because the only I say that because every single episode there's at least one mention that they like the people do not like this guy. So
and here's one thing I found something that I have an issue with on this show. Ooh. They stole from DC because I think that this Pietro is not Pietro. They base him off of Wally West, who is the Flash in the DC universe. His jokey manner, I feel like, is a lot more Wally West than it is Pietro. That's nitpicking, but that's what I think.
I don't see that.
It feels more like Wally West than it does Pietro.
I don't see that, but
you
could be right.
X-Men: Days of Future Past right now, and I mean, Evan Peters is Evan Peters, and I mean the character that he built there, it's the same character. So unless they were, stealing way back when.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Marvel does do that. Believe it or not, they're not perfect. Lies. I know you're covering your ears.
I just had a cow.
Marvel is not perfect. I'm sorry. They do steal from DC for a lot of things. Yeah. Okay, let's see. What's the other one? Vision starts to see the people now.
I want to go back real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
In that other scene, because that's where I'm going to bring it up, where I said that there's at least one more person who's fully cognitive of what's going around. It's Herb.
Yep.
Okay, and why was he Frankenstein?
Because it's a Halloween costume. But when she goes up, she's talking to him. He says a line. He's like,
before it happens,
is there something I can help you with? Do you need something changed?
Yes.
Yep. So that's
I didn't catch that line. That's good.
Yep.
Yeah. So he like Agnes is fully aware there's something not right going on. So he's not like everybody else in the town.
And there's got to be a reason why those two have always, and Dottie, but
I haven't gotten to Dottie in a while.
I know it's bothering me a lot because I want to see my Emma Frost.
You want to see if you're right, yeah. But so that's what I wanted to bring up with that because he asks her, "Do you need something changed?" And she kind of looks at him like, "No." So There we go.
Why I do ask you if the Frankenstein costume meant anything is because Agnes's costume definitely did. Quicksilver's did. Scarlet Witch's did. So why?
Yeah.
And his was very detailed. So could he be a dead one?
I don't know. I guess we'll see.
And maybe that's why he knows what's going on.
Maybe.
And I'm not. Yeah. But that's a throwaway theory for me. But I think it's possible.
I don't know who that is.
Who? Frankenstein?
Oh, you said dead. I thought you said Deadwin. I thought you were
no.
saying it was
It's a
oh
dead
no,
guy.
dead guy.
Oh, dead guy.
I don't know which dead guy, but I think he could be a dead guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so Vision starts to get out to the edge of the town, and he's starting to see the people who are just on auto, don't do anything. Now, this to me is a computer that it doesn't have the RAM to run this simulation this far out. So therefore, it's just like, okay, well, this is the very minimal amount of computing space, and that's why these people are crying, because they're have enough consciousness because they're not getting fully run but they don't have any control over it. So it's a prison of your own mind.
They're like the background in a video game.
Yes.
Like a very detailed video game.
Yeah,
they're
the NPCs.
But they know it is the worst part.
Yeah.
Because everyone is crying.
Now I'm going to posit a question to everybody in the panel and see what they think. Is it because Wanda doesn't have enough power to control them? Or is someone else controlling everything and they are only allowed to move and act like normal people when Wanda's around in order to keep up the illusion?
I'm going to say you're not going to know too. We're going to know next week. That question has to be answered next week.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be. And we'll get to why. Yeah.
Vision was there with them. But the real target of whatever this is Wanda. Whether she's controlling it,
this is why there's more than one baddie.
There's somebody else that we've talked about possibly controlling it. So is it because she doesn't have enough power, which we kind of, she has a lot of power. Either she doesn't have enough control to keep everybody going at the same time, or is the person who's controlling her, they only need to move those people when she is in the vicinity, so it looks like life is.
But she also knows where to stop too. Do not go past Ella Street, kids.
Because she knows that's the end of the dome.
Yeah.
She knows how big the dome is.
The Ellis reference, at least for me, I thought it was interesting that it was Ellis Avenue, because that would have been the immigrants' journey through Ellis Island.
That's
nice.
Yeah,
that's nice. I did not catch that, and that's awesome. I like that.
To answer your question, what if? Because we know Wanda is the most powerful MCU superhero.
We'll say arguably for those people who want to fight us on it. But yes, I think she's...
It's not like she's Green Lantern or anything.
Right. But I think she's...
It's not like she's Harley Quinn. Come on. Sorry.
What if?
Ooh.
What if she's using most of her power to keep Vision alive or powered up? Because we see, like, a few minutes later what are we up to that point? Can I go on further?
Not yet.
Okay.
Okay, hold on.
so I will. I
think Chris and I are on the same page with Vision.
I think because when you see him on the radar going towards the edge of the hex, you see a decay. They refer to this decaying vibranium source, which is Vision. So my theory that he dead and he's like got a bunch of tubes and stuff and he's being powered by Wanda. I think Wanda is diverting most of her power to him, which is projecting Vision onto the world. So all these, let's say, NPCs in the background, they're just background. It's like she's not gonna activate them unless if she needs them. So they're just there kind of in no man's land. So that's, yeah. I think she's being
selective.
She's being very selective.
With her power.
That's fair. Okay.
I'll go with that.
Let's move on to the commercial. Once again, trauma trauma from her past. What happened? They were given the yogurt, which would have saved his life. It's yo magic. And if they never learned how to use that magic, what happened? They died. So what happened when they were taken by their government and made to use their mutant powers? And yes, they are mutant powers, nothing else. That's when she was able to open the yo magic and survive. That child never learned how to use the power, so therefore that child died.
That was so dark.
That
commercial was so dark.
It was so dark.
It didn't lighten up after that point.
No.
I think there's more to that commercial than just that. I don't know what.
Yeah.
But it is so dark, and it is so just purposeful with him, shivering and grabbing at that top that won't come off, and we all know that feeling. But it was just so bleak that I just think it was a deeper cut than that.
Yeah,
I just think it was a deeper cut than other.
I agree with
watching other kids go through that.
Yeah, I agree with
Especially because all of
Satomi.
the trauma is personal for her.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I gotta fully admit, like the other ones I had figured out. This one I do not have figured out. The only the theory that I came up with, and I could be completely wrong, is that only because when the shark comes out, he says, I used to be like you, but I started feeding on your magic. So it led me to kind of think that it might be Mephisto
because it's another animal. Because it's another animal.
Powers. Now, I could be wrong because, like I said, the other ones I
like
figured
that
out.
one. Thank
this
you.
one has me baffled, but I really think it may need to be something that someone is feeding on her magic.
Yeah.
That's what I got from the yo magic line. Your magic.
Yeah.
But I don't really know.
It makes sense. It makes so much sense.
Yeah.
I like yours better than mine. Okay, let's jump on to the next scene, or else we're going to be here all day. Let's see. Scene 4, the Pietro origin seems to get even more fuzzy at this point. The big thing that caught me on this one is, again, she sees Quicksilver dead this time for a second. But that to me says that, okay, that is not really them that she's seeing. She's just having a flashback, because otherwise she would have seen her original brother.
Well, they addressed that in an earlier scene. They're walking down the street and she says, why do you look different? And he says, I don't know. Mm-hmm. He literally says, I don't know.
That's not actually answering the question. That's just...
No, he says, I don't know.
That's copping out.
But he does say, all I remember is that I'm being shot in the street. And then the next thing I know is you were calling for me. Mm-hmm. And then he's there. So, and I mean, they question each other about the accent.
Yeah.
And he doesn't answer much about their past, because he doesn't know. She does try to catch him at one point in time, and he's like, you're just trying to trick me. He doesn't answer what it is, any of that kind of stuff.
But he also says something like, if you had a trauma like that, would you want to be reminded of it every day?
Exactly, in that same scene.
Can I ask you guys a question? Do we all know of a superhero or demigod that can change his appearance and likes to trick people?
Loki?
Yes.
I don't think it.
It doesn't feel like Loki.
No.
No matter who it is, I think he was sent in by somebody else. I don't know that that's Quicksilver. That's not our Quicksilver.
Okay. That's not the Quicksilver we know.
Yeah, he is sent in.
I do think it's a Quicksilver.
I think it is, but he's sent in.
There is one theory out there from a fellow I Heart Geeker, Blythe. He mentioned to me that he thinks that this is in fact Quicksilver. It is the Quicksilver from the X-Men movies. He is who he is. He has been sent in by Professor X to gather intel on Wanda. I don't know if I believe that, but I told him I mentioned it on air.
I don't know if it's Professor X, but I believe that he's right, that it is sent in from somebody.
Yeah.
When she has that flashback and she sees dead Quicksilver, those are the wounds from Ultron, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And I don't remember if Quicksilver is still alive in the X-Men series because I haven't. He is?
Yes, he
okay.
is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he's still got to go and be Magneto's son.
Yeah. So in the X-Men version, he's still alive, and in the MCU, but I mean, I guess we could say that the lines are blurred now because Disney or Marvel has gotten the X-Men back. They've gotten the rights back. So now the X-Men are now part of the MCU. They just haven't been incorporated in yet, except this is the way they're doing it. Because now we have the MCU, we have this Quicksilver.
I saw that as their gateway.
Now we have to hit this one because this one's going to be probably the hardest one to hit because there's so much to this. The next scene is the powers of Monica Rambeau are confirmed that it is happening. There's not any question about it. Yeah. It's not spoilers at this point.
Darcy pretty much says it.
That's happening. Now, this is where I start to believe that when Wanda stole Vision, she wasn't stealing Vision for her own selfish thing. She wasn't stealing Vision to keep him alive. She was stealing him from Sword because Sword was going to use him
as a weapon.
And what is Sword doing right now? What are they tracking? Not Wanda. Vision.
So actually, she went in there to honor his last
wishes. She's the good guy in this, but I think she went in and got confused. She got very, very confused. She got Mephisto mind
exposed.
Run.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
I think that's
I think they're trying. They were trying to weaponize him. They were definitely trying to weaponize him,
or
use the technology to weaponize other things.
Sword is Skrull. We'll get to that later.
Just a side note, I did enjoy how, I know Darcy's like super smart, and that's her personal superpower, but I did enjoy that she was like, it's going to take me like 2 minutes to hack into this system. Okay, I'm done. Here we are. That was one of those moments of, oh God. Okay.
Yeah, she's such a fun character, and
she's great.
Yeah,
it's like
I can't wait to see.
It's like they do the whole keyboard, like 2 seconds on the keyboard. And it's like, I'm in.
Yes.
What did you press?
Control Alt Delete.
There you go. Hey, words password is I'm a jerk.
Yeah. The big one is that I think that we can't gloss over the fact that they're following Vision and not Wanda. They don't. They just wanted to kill Wanda and get it over with because her job's done. Whatever Sword wanted her to do, her job is done. They want to protect the asset. And
what if Sword actually set this up and then she became something out of their control?
It's possible.
It's possible. It's a distinct possibility.
Yeah. Especially if the Skrull are involved.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'm hoping they don't do because I hate the Skrull. It's you're a Skrull and you're a Skrull.
Yeah.
Maybe Wanda set up the hex to protect herself and Vision from the outside world.
Well, you go back since the beginning. She does not know how all this started. And then because she went in there, she probably, I'm going to say she's a good guy at the moment. I think she went in there. She put a protection spell. They're going to weaponize him. That's why I don't think that this is the real Vision. They sent in another one because they pulled him out of another multiverse to weaponize him because that's why she took him. That's me. I know, but I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I don't buy into that other theory in a second. Okay, let's see. Scene 6, Vision sees the boundaries, which that's an interesting thing. And then my favorite scene in it is the Vision meeting with Agatha. And Courtney, go for this one because I know you got some stuff on this one.
Yeah, it's really obvious. I still think we are 99.9% correct that she is Agatha Harkness. I do not for a minute believe that she was in that quasi trance.
No.
I think I think she is really now. I don't know if she is trying to help Wanda, or if she is an agent of somebody else in the background.
In the comics, she's always been her protector and her teacher.
Yes, but she also was an agent of Mephisto and fed her to Mephisto. So I mean, it's like she could go either direction in this.
Yeah.
Mephisto's got some seriously messed up eating habits.
He does.
Well, he's the devil, so yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't mean like eating like he did the children. I mean, like, presented her here, take her power.
I was thinking like, Pop-Tart or Wanda.
Yeah. And I mean, Agatha in the comics also made Wanda forget her own children.
Which was the kindest thing she could have ever done.
Yeah, her power was enough to make her forget Billy and Tommy.
Because they got eaten.
Yeah.
They got it.
Yeah. It was the kindest thing she could have possibly done.
But that's what sent Wanda on a tailspin in the comics. But I don't know if that's happening here. So, I mean, whether she's trying to help or hinder, I don't know. I think she's trying to help Wanda. I think she's not 100% control of herself either. But every time we see her, she's feeding little things to both Vision and Wanda.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what she did in this scene. Now, she may have been frozen and he did wake her up. But I mean, she did tell him he's dead.
And she acted completely different from everybody else.
Yeah, she was completely different when she responded to him. She was not like the other guy he took out. I can't remember what the guy's name was. The one in last episode where he zinged out and he's like, you got to stop her.
Yeah.
No, all she did was, and she never throws Wanda under the bus. She never blames Wanda in that scene. She just says that there's things that are happening and you've got to stop. And so she's leading them both in some direction for sure.
What do you think he was doing there? Is that part of your theory that, because what was she doing on the outskirts of town?
Well, she supposedly got lost, but he mentions in the town you grew up in.
Yeah, which tells you he's not.
Did she do that to sort of plant herself and try to get his attention, or was she doing one of that Herb thing when he was trying to cut through the wall?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't know. What she may have been doing is trying to lead Vision to the outer rim.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was right there and she was the only
and then she turned around
who was right there at the edge, and that in the very next moment he's at the edge of the dome.
True. Okay.
So I'd be interested to see what everybody else thought, because
any thoughts on the maniacal laughter?
She's a witch.
Yeah, well,
it's what we do.
Because she's definitely sorry, what was her name? Refresh my memory of her name again.
Agatha.
Yeah, because like she's dressed like a witch, and I remember from our previous talks about this, like I made a mental note in my head. I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing, because we saw Wanda and Vision in their costumes at the beginning of the episode, as if they were like in the comics, and then we see this witch in a car. Like, I don't know why I did that accent, but it's live. We're gonna do it.
It
works. I like it.
But yeah, I took that maniacal laughter as her personality coming out a little bit, like her true personality, because we've seen her as like this over the top, character in all these different eras.
Yeah.
And she is an old woman in the comics. She's not a young, beautiful woman like Catherine
No, she's
Hahn
like 100 and something, I think.
She's an old woman. So if you saw, they gave her gray in the wig this time.
I did not
So,
see
I
that.
mean, she is steadily getting... Physically, they're kind of making her a little bit older each time we see her.
Interesting.
So.
Does anybody actually going back? I know that on in the beginning in the theme song, when it shows her, she's in the credits now, by the way. She is, and Pietro wore, which I think was an interesting, and she got her name on there. The first time that's happened. But she bent over, and on her butt was written, I think, Wicked or something.
I couldn't read it. What did it say?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was Wicked.
I think it was Wicked on her butt.
Okay, because I was like, what is that? I couldn't read it.
Oh yeah. Okay, so now let's go into the Vision. Is it suicide? Is it? This is a theory that's not real popular with people, but I think
it wasn't suicide.
No, I don't think it was quote unquote suicide. But I think he tried to get out. He could have come back when he realized that he's falling apart.
You can't commit suicide if you're already dead.
Well, and there's
it's because he's another multiverse. He's alive.
He was yelling, "Help them! You have to help them!"
Yeah.
So it was he was in very much Avenger mode, even though he didn't remember that he was an Avenger. It was very much self-sacrifice, not self-destruction.
Because he didn't know when he went through there that was going to happen.
No, but he knew by the time he was
Chris.
He was dying.
No, all I was going to say was when you see him start to like break apart and break down, in my mind, it confirmed my own little theory that he's a projection of some sort and he's not actually Vision that we saw in the MCU. So, the thing I would like answered in the rest of the series is how or what.
Don't say the H without what. Oh my gosh.
What?
Cool Whip.
She likes some Cool Whip.
Cool Whip. I want to know how or what is doing this to
I have a theory.
Like
let's get to let's wait on it though.
Yeah. Okay.
No, we'll wait on the theory that Courtney has. But yeah.
Yeah.
Is it Wanda? Is it someone else? Is it a combination of the two?
There's also, if you look at her powers are very fluid. And everything that comes from her is wiggly, whatever Pietro says.
Pietro says, yeah.
And when Vision goes through the hex is very digital.
It was.
Well, it still is though, because if you look at the boundaries, it's still there are delineated lines. You can actually finally see a corner. I mean, honestly, it looks like a Borg ship by the end of it.
Yeah, it does. A pink Borg ship.
A pink Borg ship.
Now, Now I want to shoot some holes in some theories that were said earlier about Vision. Said, well, if they're tracking Vision and he comes out, maybe he's got parts on him or batteries or whatever to keep him going. Why that I know that can't be true, and why I think he is alive and not the dead Vision when he came out. Anytime anything comes out, it's the real them, it's the reality. Anytime anybody has come out of there, it has been reality. That was Vision when he came out of there with the Mind Stone.
But he's dead.
Maybe. Maybe.
Like, if we're gonna play with the whole multiverse thing,
yeah,
the Vision in the MCU who had like his head ripped off by Thanos, he's definitely dead. So I want to know, like, because like I said earlier, on the radar, there's that decaying vibranium outside the hex, and there was Vision from inside. So
two different
how?
Visions.
Yeah, it's like I want to know, like, is there like a Doctor Strange thing going on where like they're like going through wormholes?
I'm so happy when someone says Doctor
Strange.
He
may come into play. He may come into play.
Thank you for at least giving me that. Thank you.
Oh yeah, he may come into play.
Because it's starting to get a little timey-wimey and wibbly-wobbly.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And it's only going to get worse, and then the last episode is going to tie it all in a neat bow, I'm sure.
No, it's not. It's going to leave us hanging.
Till Doctor Strange and the Mysteries of the Multiverse.
We'll see.
Is this a single season? Is this a single season show?
Yeah.
Okay. Every one of these is supposed to be single seasons.
I find myself, like, I understand that it has to be and it should be, and I'm glad they're doing it, but I'm already mourning the loss of this show.
Me too.
Already.
Me too. So can I do my theory now?
All right. Fire it away now. So.
Chris, I'm like you. All right. So I think Vision is dead. And I think Wanda is keeping him alive. It's the illusion of keeping him alive. Now, when he steps out, he starts to immediately decompose and decay and disappear because he is dead.
Yeah.
And her power at the moment does not extend beyond the dome. So that's why when Billy says something wrong with Dad, she immediately pushes the dome farther to encompass Vision
and everybody stops because she only has so much RAM.
Yeah, I mean, so she gets everybody, and she gets Darcy. Who's excited for Darcy? So yeah, that's my theory. Is I think he is dead. He is our Vision. He is dead. She did not. She honored his living will because he's not really alive, and it's only because her power at the moment does not extend beyond the dome. She had to get him back into the dome in order to keep him safe. So she extended it out and turned everybody into clowns.
Which was the best thing ever.
So
turned the circus into a circus.
So let's throw this one last thing in before we close up because we're already at the hour point. Darcy's got to be amazing next week. We're excited about that. And here's the other question. At the outskirts of town, we're going to know how much power whoever is controlling it actually has. This, I think, was the first time we know that Wanda was controlling it all. Before, I don't think so. I think that so if this extension, everything runs normal and are not in super slow RAM mode, that means that there was somebody else who was controlling it the whole time. And that this is the first thing she was controlling.
I feel like Wanda's power is growing.
That's what I feel like. I feel like whoever is manipulating this situation is manipulating her to push her to grow her powers, to show her what she can do.
Yeah.
Then to take advantage of that.
I just thought of this now. Did anyone notice the line where Quicksilver's like, "Where'd you get all the kids?" Or where'd you hide all the kids?
Where are you hiding all the kids?
Like, did you see how many kids were in this episode?
Mm-hmm.
As like a direct response to all the other episodes?
And she said, "I don't know." And he goes, "I'm not going to judge you." And she still didn't admit to it because this is, again, Pietro is not, he's sent by someone as a fact finder.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I don't know that he is.
Whether it be Professor X.
Or someone else.
Or Magneto.
So I
think somebody big is coming.
It has to.
Definitely. I do have a question about when she did expand the hex. What era is it
next?
Yeah. Did they go back?
No, it stayed the same. There were used cars. That was a Malcolm in the Middle. That was the Malcolm in the Middle circus from that episode. I've seen that episode. So the used car lot, that was a Malcolm in the Middle car lot.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So I guess next week is going to be, Dub said, Modern Family-ish.
Yes.
That's going to be so
And we don't
good.
know after that. I don't know what they can do after that.
We'll have, what do we got, 3 episodes left?
3 episodes. They're all
Game
an
of
hour
Thrones.
each.
Oh, Lord.
Are there going to be dragons and a red wedding?
Well,
suddenly Billy and Tommy are dating.
it's family friendly, but everybody go Google Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver if you want, and you'll see how it correlates.
They would fit in well with the twins from.
They would be very good with the Lannisters. That's all we're gonna say.
Okay,
they are Lannisters.
I got you.
They buried that pretty quickly. Thank God.
Thank goodness.
Oh, that was a terrible storyline, and I remember when it happened.
It was awful.
And I was a kid, and I wanted to vomit. It
was bad.
So bad. Anyway, so that is the show, guys. We got to kill this. This show's so much fun. I don't know what to say.
So much
WandaVision shows are the best.
Join the conversation on Facebook, on Discord. Go sign up for our Patreon. We have a bunch of new episodes that are going in next week. You are actually going to get behind the paywall and be able to watch stuff that nobody else can watch. You're a Patreon subscriber. Go to the website, www.iheartgeekshow.com. Use the com. We paid extra for it.
Yes, we did.
And until next time, I'm Dub. I'm here with Chris, Courtney, and Satomi. Keep on geeking on, kids.
Bye.
You have been listening to the latest episode of the iHeart Geek Show. Make sure you visit our website at www.iheartgeekshow.com. make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you check us out on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And keep on geeking on to all of you geek rock stars.